Hey everyone, it's Mr. Wild194. I hope you're doing well today. I have a book review, well, for this video and the video behind it, that essentially are for books that I read during Christmas break of 2023 when my wife and I were so desperately sick. And when I started feeling better, I started reading things and watching movies that I had never seen, like Ghostbusters Afterlife and stuff. And this is a book from an author that I love deeply named Mr. R.L. Stine, one that I have a whole channel dedicated to called Michael Goosebumps Fan, where I reviewed every single Goosebumps book ever, except for the brand new one, Goblin Monday. I need to get a copy of that. But this book here is a Fear Street book, his other famous series that I've never been much of a fan of. I reviewed a few of these books for this channel, mainly, I think, just the Silent Night series, which is 3 books. It's a trilogy. I think those are Fear Street Super Chillers or something like that. I don't know. But this is Fear Street Truth or Dare. And I read this obviously because of the kind of skiing, snowy landscape. It's not really like a Christmas or holiday-themed book or anything. Truth or Dare was one that I was super interested in. Even though I'm not a big Fear Street fan, I was hoping that this would be good. Basically, this is 146 pages long, and I wish we had more books that were this size for YA and adult horror and stuff like that, that would just kind of cut the fat and get to the actual story. Because to me, when I read this, it's like watching a movie, and I love that. Truth or Dare, I was really hoping to be good. The setup sounded cool. It had this slasher vibe to it that sounded really neat. And a lot of Fear Street has that. Typically very straightforward, no supernatural stuff. And I love that about Fear Street. However, everything that I ever read from it typically is very disappointing in my personal opinion. Fear Street never really captivated me the way Goosebumps did. I grew up on Goosebumps, never read Fear Street until the last few years of my life. And Truth or Dare is probably one of the better Fear Street books, but it's not a good book. You know what I mean? Like, it's not one of the ones that I have read that I'm in love with or anything. I think I like it more than the Silent Night books. I'm not really sure. Maybe Silent Night 1 is better. I don't know. But it's probably the best out of that handful, but at the same time, it's very mediocre, kind of underneath average sometimes. And the main character, and kind of the other characters in here too, all kind of get on my nerves as the book goes along. So anyway, we follow, in first-person perspective, a young lady named April who is going up with a bunch of people that she's friends with but kind of not friends with to this rich girl that she knows named Dara's house out in the mountains, basically. They're picked up by a limo and everything to go out to this place, and Dara invites them up there because they have snow and they can ski and so on and so on, and they think it'd be a nice little getaway, but Dara didn't tell anybody that her family were going up there. Well, then another guy and his girlfriend or whatever, they vacation together sometimes. They show up too, so everybody's in this house together, and it's like 5 or 6 kids, I believe. Now, mind you, it's been like 3 months since I've read the book, and I forgot to review it for this channel, as well as the next book I'm about to review after this video. But a lot of the fine details are deleted from my brain. I went through and tried to get a general name recap for people that I thought kind of matter in here, the people who don't, but, just bear with me. Anyway, April and her friends and non-friends and whatever are hanging out, and they start playing games like Truth or Dare. There's another guy in here, too, that is kind of a weirdo that April talks to on the way up to the house. His name is Josh. He's a very shy guy that apparently has some history with some of them, mainly with Dara, the rich chick. And Dara I actually like. I don't think she's a mean-spirited rich character like you typically get from any kind of fiction, which was kind of nice. I didn't hate that at all. But these kids bicker and they banter and stuff, and that can be fun sometimes, but then somebody is murdered. They show up, they're found dead, basically, out in the yard. And another character goes missing, and things begin to devolve into a murder mystery whodunit, a slasher film, sort of, because people are always in danger of being killed again, but everybody's trying to figure out who did what in a whodunit way, and that's kind of fun in a mystery kind of book. I don't read a whole lot of mysteries, to be honest with you. And I love mysteries, I just don't get a whole lot of books from authors that I love that write this kind of thing, because mystery is kind of hard to pull off a lot of the time. And frankly, in my opinion, as much as I love R.L. Stine, he's one of my favorite writers of all time, easily in my top 5 of all time, he proves that with this book. He just does. He proves the fact that whodunits are kind of hard to pull off a lot of the time. Personally, April, the main character, as the book goes along, every single fucking thing that happens in here, even if it's not about her, she makes it about herself. And the book never acknowledges that. The book never has another character say, April, shut up. You're not the one that was targeted here. But April is always saying like, oh my god, I almost died because of this and that and this and that. She's always making every single situation about herself. and it drives me nuts. It absolutely annoys the hell out of me as I read this book. And most of the characters in here are kind of dumb cannon fodder anyway, so I don't really have much to complain about. It is lame. I wish there was more death, and more grisly death on top of that in this book. The one death that we really saw in here was pretty shockingly cool, in a cool way, that I didn't expect Stein to write. That I knew he also wrote adult horror in recent years. I want to check out some of those books. I've heard they're bad. But I own one. I think it's called Superstition or something like that. Superstitious. I don't know. I have it somewhere down here behind my bookshelves, or like in the back of the bookshelves. But anyway, Truth or Dare, I was hoping to be a good book and an engaging book. And again, it kind of started off to be an engaging read, but as it went on, it lost me. I just could not care less as it went on. And again, by the end of the book, I think it was kind of a bad book because of April, the main character. If April had not always been talking about herself constantly, well, this probably could have been a better read, to be honest. The misunderstandings of just basic stupid shit drove me nuts in here. Anyway, Fear Street, Truth or Dare, I vented about to my friends in our Discord group a long time while I was reading this while I was sick. And to be sick and then read a bad, obnoxious book at the same time, that bothers me a lot. It bothered me then, it bothers me now in hindsight. I guess it's why my brain tried to delete this from my brain and make it where I couldn't review the book, because I just kept forgetting about it. I kept having amnesia about this stupid-ass book. Anyway, Truth or Dare, if I had to rate it on a 5-star basis, I would give it like a 2 out of 5 stars. It has its moments, it has a good concept set up, because I'm a huge slasher fan and a mystery fan. But it flops. It's bad. And I was hoping for the ski stuff to be a nice part of the book too, and it's not really even there almost at all. Anyway, have you read Truth or Dare? Have you read much Fear Street? Do you love any of it? Do you love this book? Do you hate it? I'd love to hear all of that down below too. Do you think Fear Street is obnoxious the way I do? Maybe I've just read a lot of bad books. I've heard the Silent Night books aren't the most beloved of the franchise, but I have friends who really love those books and think they're some of the best of the series, and I don't get it. But, I don't know. I hope they're better. I don't think it's a matter of, again, this being for teenagers, and I'm not a teenager, obviously, because I love Goosebumps. Goosebumps has phenomenal book after phenomenal book, and even most of the books I would say are above average for me personally. I find some kind of entertainment value typically in those books, no matter what era, what series, what time frame they came out. But Fear Street just doesn't connect to me most of the time. I don't know what it is. It's like this weird mesh of tones, you know? It's a slasher movie, but it's censored down enough and watered down enough that they're not cursing, there's no real blood or killing or anything like that heavily in the books. But it's not only about that, it's kind of lame. They never really have a good execution of the whodunit, and I guess that's what bothers me the most. I can't figure it out. Anyway, R.L. Stine's Fear Street, Truth or Dare, not a good one. I don't really recommend it that highly. I don't recommend you picking it up. Matter of fact, I would say it's probably a bad book because most book lots that you buy on eBay have this in there. So anyway, have you read it? What do you think about it? Let me know your thoughts on it. Let me know your favorite Fear Street book if you have one. Love to hear all that down below too. Thank you guys. God bless you all, and goodbye.